What's up, guys? It is Maxwell, and welcome back to Clashversation. Finally, we are running again. This is episode 11, and once again, I am able to welcome Ferox to the show. Hi, Ferox.
Hi, guys.
And also, Mutki is with us once again.
Hey ho, Elle.
And happily, Adam decided to join us one more time as well. Hello, Adam.
I don't like when you say one more time. It makes it sound like this is my last time.
No, it's not. All right, Adam is here as well. Apparently, Asterix is still stuck in work, so maybe he's going to join us a bit later. But yeah, that's the squad for today, so let's get right into it. Okay, guys, so let's start right off, and we're gonna, as usual, start with the wars from this weekend. There were a couple of pretty interesting ones, and how about we start with Spartan's Legacy versus Pinoy Bandidos. That one ending 113-111, very good war, and of course, Mutke and myself, we were both inside that war, although Mutke, you probably watched more of it than I did because I also had to attack another clan. So, what's your overall estimation for this one?
A pretty close war to the end. It was at the beginning also pretty slow start for Spartan's Legacy. Started, I believe, with 4 out of 9, 9v9, and the opponents were 4 out of 4. So kinda grinded up the planning game on the 9v9 stage, and at the end we cleared those 9s with only 2 tries more than the opponents, so that's fine. And yeah, till like the last 2 hours we were on the even stage where we still had to clear an TH11 from them and had 1 10v10 more, so just clear the TH11 with a 10 and make a safe dip game. But from one to the other minute, we dropped like 3 10v10 in a row, and the war turned over. It was just crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. We had this stretch of like 30 or 40 minutes towards the end where we just killed it. Yeah, so that was pretty good. In the end, we had 2 dip fails. Pinoy Bandidos with perfect dips, but we had 4 more 10v10s, and that's the 2-star differential. Yeah, I think like overall very solid war from Spartan's Legacy. Except I mean, had we gotten the two dips, and we would have put up 115 stars, which is of course clearing 10s in a breakdown of 516. That's pretty awesome. Adam, I think that you are always pretty much every weekend now checking the stats from the other wars as well, not just One Half One Glory. So, what's your thoughts for this one?
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I really like the score center approach where people can just log on and and I kind of do it just based on who's on the chat. So, for example, when you come on, straight away I dive into one of your wars, put it up on the screen, and we chat about it, and it's a lot of fun. And obviously that's all thanks to War Match, so I've got to shout it out.
Yeah.
I mean, will you tell me first of all, what did you predict for this war?
I think Pinoy Bandidos are strong, man. I think they've been surprising. They have had a very good war against DLZ. They just could not hold up defensively. What did I expect? I mean, SL is going to be the favorite going into most wars, obviously, and I think they were a slight favorite, or we were a slight favorite going in also for this one, and kind of turned out that we pulled through, but like not as smooth as we maybe would have predicted. I mean, if you have an off day, Pinoy Bandidos are certainly going to catch you off guard. What do you think?
I think the interesting thing is now, I think they might have gone perfect on dips 3 times, certainly twice, and been very close once. And I think that any clan that is doing really well on their 11v10s is going to be competitive in every war, and it puts a lot of pressure on the other clans. So, for example, I mean, Spartan's Legacy was 6-2 up on 10v10s, but with those 2 dip fails, all of a sudden it's a close war. Yeah. And it's like, it adds pressure, and obviously if Pinoy Banditos get a reputation as having some of the most reliable 11s in the league, it gets kind of scary for people they come up against. Now, I don't think that in terms of 10v10 and 10v11, they're quite at the level of some of the top clans, but they are going to pick up some wins. I'm kind of gutted for them because they've had a horrible schedule, but yeah. I'm sure they're going to get some wins. They certainly deserve them. They have had some great performances. Again, 111 stars, that would win a lot of wars this week. So
absolutely.
That's true, and SL has good bases.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good point, especially with that extra week off. You don't want to give some of the best base builders in the league an extra week off. That doesn't bode well for you. And again, and you've got to shout out Spartan's Legacy because everybody's talking about DLZ and War and Glory with these incredible stats and figures, but Spartan's Legacy are extremely good as well. They've beaten WHF. Sorry, they lost to WHF, but in a very close war. And obviously that's two top clans going at it. And then when they've been up against other clans, they've come out and again 6-10 v10s, and they do it quietly. Like nobody's shouting about it, but 6-10 v10s is huge. So I don't know. Anybody who's sort of not taking Spartan's Legacy seriously is in for a bit of a shock when they get to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I am relatively new to the clan still. Been joining for season 3, of course, and like my feeling, a little bit from the outside still, is that there's always couple little areas where we still need a bit of fine tuning. Like lately, it's been the struggle with the dips. I mean, dip fails every war. Just if we can get those little things tuned for the playoffs, I think we're looking very strong. Or what do you think, Mutke?
I definitely think the same. I mean, you can say at the end always, yeah, dip fail made it because it's one of the last attacks, but also the 10v10 or 10v11 game could have made it the same as the 9v9s too. But yeah, if you fail a dip, you have to grind up much more on the 10v10 game, and dropping one 10v10 more instead of dropping a dip is pretty hard.
Absolutely. So, with that one wrapped up, let's talk about Adam's Sunday. I kind of feel bad about this, gotta be honest. In case you guys don't know, which I'm sure you all do by now if you've ever watched an Adam stream, he also supports Arsenal, who lost 0-4 to Liverpool. So my old Dortmund manager Klopp ruining your Sunday, Adam.
Yeah, I think if I'm being really honest about this, we didn't lose, we got battered. And even when it was 0-0, it was horrible to watch. We were awful. And we were the One Hive 2.0 of football on Sunday. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, I actually watched the highlights for that football game, and it seemed like Liverpool also could have scored a couple more goals, couple of good chances as well for Arsenal, but overall they just overwhelmed them. But anyways, back to Clash of Clans. Of course, J-Off versus One Hive is the war we're going to talk about next, and this one ended 111-109, so a 2-star victory for J-Off. And very late in the war, Ferox actually hopped back on voice to watch my last attack. So
that's true.
Ferox, how do you feel about this one?
I was busy for the weekend, so I was not in war, and I did not follow the war. But in the beginning, I thought we had a chance with One Hive, and it looks like I was right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was kind of surprised so many people, after this war was over. It's always, of course, a good way to talk about predictions, but after it was over, a lot of people told me that they had actually picked J-Off, that they were not surprised about us beating One Hive. But yeah, a rough war for One Hive for sure. Adam, I know that you were streaming, and then I believe you were hosting over to Jake, but probably still watching. So what do you think about this one? What went wrong for One Hive?
Yeah, I mean, pretty obviously J-Off and modding. That's the only conclusion I can come to. No, I'm kidding. J-Off were very good. And let's face it, J-Off have been good all season. I agree, this wasn't a shock. I think a lot of people have realised, J-Off are serious. Perhaps they're not quite running at the level of the very top clans at the minute, but again, they are a little bit newer to the Invite League. So absolutely. Let's see how, let's have this discussion again at week 8 or week 9 and see how it's going. But equally, J-Off and One Hive, they're kind of battling for the same spots. They both were 2-1. I thought it was a pretty even matchup, a good matchup. And I thought J-Off did everything that I expected. They had good bases, 4 10v10s, 9 from 10 on dips. Very solid. 10v11 could have been a bit better if we're being sort of picky about this.
Yeah.
But, and I don't mean to do this because I don't want to take anything away from J-Off, I feel One Hive lost that war. Yet again, 2 dip fails. I mean, this is the problem that One Hive have had for a long time. They, even people on the streams are saying, they can always feel a dip fail in One Hive. And even this season when they've been winning, they've been doing it with 2 dip fails. And it's like, you just, with the new troops, a clan that wants to get to the conference finals or to the grand final needs to be hitting 9 from 10 on a bad day and 10 from 10 on most days. That's, you have to be consistent. Those are the stars that get you the solid wins. I mean, the 10v10s and 10v11s were okay without being great, but I mean, if we'd have gone perfect on dips, it would have been a draw. And it's like, it's that simple. One Hive have to tighten that up. And I think, again, I've got a bit of an advantage here because I did stream it. But if you look at some of the One Hive attacks, and Maxwell, you of all people know this because a lot of them were against your base, they were kind of foolish errors. And, I don't like to call my guys out because I love One Hive. I love everybody in there. But, like, we can't blame your base building or J-Off's sort of superior skill or anything because it was our fault. Some of those mistakes were pretty like slap on the wrist, both at planning and execution, and they should have been avoided. And, again, it's just a 2-star defeat, and it's one of those where One Hive will have to go back to the drawing board and say, man, we just need to tighten up a little bit to take that extra 5 minutes on planning that, even. And again, not being too critical here, but even the spotters, there were a couple of attacks that should have gone in if the spotter had called things slightly differently. So just little things like that could help One Hive, in the sort of battle of the contenders against good clans, to turn it to a win. That's my conclusion. Sorry, that was a bit long-winded.
No. It's been a good one for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think there's 2 areas where One Hive is sort of struggling right now. The 9v9 is so solid. They came out of the blocks very good. I mean, of course, you're going to attack the bases that suit your game first, but I believe they are good on tunnel 9s, but it's always the 11 versus 10 and 10v11 I feel that gets them. I mean, 10v11, they actually did pretty well until they started attacking my base, which defended 9 times, in case you guys haven't heard that yet. So yeah, luckily I was able to put up a good one there, and we were actually, these are always the 2 areas that get One Hive. I feel like the dips, like whenever you are in a war versus One Hive, which I've been in twice now with DLZ not too long ago, and now with J-Off, you're always sitting there and it's sort of a close war, and you feel like, well, I don't really feel pressure because most likely they are gonna fail a dip at some point, and that's just something that they have to tighten up to be scary again. And then with the 10v11, with the struggle on that, not having solution for it. I mean, Richard and I were actually laughing about this when war ended. Atoma had to go for my base, attacking my 11 base 10v11, and it's just a feels bad, man, when somebody like that has to do that.
Yeah, and again, I want to be completely clear. I mean, I had before this war a huge amount of respect for J-Off, and certainly after it. I mean, One Hive are a top clan. They've a huge reputation, and we've said this for a long time now. You don't smash One Hive, like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get those 115 stars, 116 stars against One Hive, the base building. They're a solid clan. So for any clan to beat One Hive is an achievement. So yeah, really well done to J-Off. But I think for One Hive, it was a good war to have because they're now 2-2. It's week 4. They've now got a week off as well as the regular week off sort of thing. And it's a really good time to say, okay, things are going okay for One Hive, but we still have these areas to improve on if we're going to really challenge, the back end of the playoffs.
Yes, absolutely. I feel the same way. And yeah, I mean, I don't think the One Hive have the easiest schedule coming up as well. I think there's a couple tough matches in their way. I think I will be facing them again with Mariana Trench. So the guys over at the Trench yesterday, they already said, all right, cool, congrats on the victory. We're gonna make it 2-0 versus One Hive for you. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, interesting. I'm always secretly pulling for them because they've been around for so long. They've done so much for the competitive war scene. So definitely tough to see them struggle, but equally I think they are strong in the core and they are going to recover. The last war for this week is going to be Power CoC versus Dark Looters Z. And this one ending 113 tie on stars. First of all, I gotta offer a huge shout out to my man Chad over at Power CoC. He's awesome. He's of course the leader. And earlier today he was actually able to bring me over there to get some of those replays from their war. You're gonna see a lot of those playing in the background as we talk. I will probably already have shown quite a few of those at this point. So yeah, very good war, best war of the week most likely. Awesome performance by both sides. An 11 versus 11 triple for Power CoC, and actually an 11 versus 11 1-star fail on a base that remained 1-star within the last minute of war. That had it been a 2-star, of course, would have brought them the 114-113 win. 6 10v10 triples for Power CoC, 5 for DLZ. Crazy good war. Mutki, did you have a chance to pick up on the stats for this one?
Yeah, I actually was in contact with the PC guys in the beginning of the war. Kind of wished them good luck and yeah, rooted for them. And I know that Chad went 3 out of 4 10v10 in the beginning of the war.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 mass minor triples, I believe.
Yeah, and he hit through a golem CC. Was funny.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe a bit sketchy on some of the DLZ bases, what we don't usually see.
I guess so. I guess the big flaw of DLZ this war was giving 3 bases for mass minor able triples.
Yeah, absolutely. Ferox, are you surprised about this result? What do you think? Power CoC?
I am. To be honest, I thought it would be closer. Not closer, but not as close as it was in the end. I thought DLZ would win with a 2-star difference or something like that.
Yeah, so definitely surprising. Adam, I think Power CoC, they have sort of been one of the most inconsistent clans. Like, I don't know how many stars did they put up last week, like 104 or something, and now they put up 113 against DLZ. I believe that you were also shocked about this performance on stream yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. The result, no, I thoroughly expected Dark Looter Z to win. I thought that they would probably win by 2 or 3 stars. I thought it would be quite a solid result for DLZ. And to be fair, it was. I mean, they got 5 10v10s, 90% on dips, and I think were they 5 from 9 or 5 from 10, something like that on the hit-ups. Like, I mean, it was a beautiful set of stats. So yeah. DLZ ticked every box. So the surprise was Power CoC. Now, I do think they've got a good roster. I do think they've underperformed a little bit this season, but I was not expecting this performance. An 11v11 triple and a 10v10 triple at the buzzer was like, wow. I mean, that's a lot of character to be able to do that. Obviously, losing by, what is it? What did they lose by? Was it like 0.25 of a percent, something like that?
2.5.
Yeah,
0.25, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a crazy low margin. They hit 6 10v10 triples, and we've always said this. If you want to be in the playoffs and hit in the top end, you have to be able to do a performance that gets you 5 and 6 quite often. And we haven't really seen that before from Power CoC, and we certainly did today. Yesterday, sorry. Perfect on dips as well, obviously always an important part. I think if you're going to lose, that's the best way to lose. And Power CoC must now be looking at some of their up-and-coming fixtures and thinking, right, it's time to rack up some wins, because if we perform like that against 21 of the clans in the league, we're going to get wins.
Yeah, most likely for sure. Yeah, once again, a huge shout out to those guys. Very well played. Definitely surprised a lot of people with their performance. In the end, DLZ sort of the Bayern Munich of CWL right now, still coming away with the victory. And once again, in case you are wondering about Power CoC tactics, I said earlier that they had an 11 versus 11 1-star fail in the last minute of war. Well, they had 3 attacks go in within the last minute. One was a 10v10 that ended up being a triple. Another one was an 11 versus 11 that ended up being a triple. And the third one was the 11 versus 11 that ended up being a 1-star. So they had to go for it on all 3 of their attacks because they were trailing. So yeah, definitely did pretty well, and a bit unlucky here, but yeah, of course, once again, congratulations to DLZ for pulling it out in the end, and still undefeated, I believe, right?
They are undefeated, yeah.
They are 1 match behind though, because they've got that Reddit Omega War to catch up on. But yeah, no, Maxwell, I completely agree there. Like, I think sometimes with clans like DLZ and War and Glory, you spend all the time discussing how well or not well their opponent did, but you can't knock DLZ yet again. Another massive performance, massive stats, massive win. You can't ignore just how good they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. a top contender to win this season. All right, I think that's enough for the past for now. We've been talking a lot about the wars from this weekend and what went down, but yet again they were pretty exciting, so I think that's fair. But yeah, let's move on to some more general topics. All right, guys, and for today's interview, I have a topic for you guys that I think everybody's going to be curious about. It is the current state of the game, of course, from the perspective of competitive war slash the meta that we currently have inside Clash, because I think it is pretty good. It may need a couple of little tweaks, and I also am going to have a bit more detailed info on that a bit later. But first, for my companions today, what do all of you think about the game that we play right now? How do you feel about it? Ferox, why don't you start us off?
I have no idea. I just started a month ago playing a 10, and back then I thought I picked the worst timing to hit 11s as a 10 ever.
Because it's tough?
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely not so easy right now, and that is also something that might get buffed though. I mean, I think that a lot of people are sort of complaining about that. I mean, it's possible whenever you are having a good day. Like, for example, we talked about DLZ a couple minutes ago. They were at 56% hit rate this weekend, 10v11. They went 5 out of 9, so definitely very good on that. But overall, it's definitely very tough. Why do you think that it is that way, Ferox? What do you think is the problem right now with the 10v11, and what could improve it?
Like back in the days when 10 versus 11s just began, clans just sent their weaker 10s or less experienced 10s to hit 11s. But now with extra defenses and stuff, it's kind of tough, and also the base builders have improved. So that is what makes it tough.
Okay. Well, we've got a couple of Town Hall 11 base builders in here, so I know that Mutke definitely built a pretty mean base. Why did we not see that in CWL, actually, Mutke, the one that I tested?
It will be tested not like a few days. I would test my bases always like 1 to 2 weeks if I had the time, and we already were set on bases, so it will get even meaner for the opponents.
all right.
Just a little stat-wise, on my bases this season so far, the opponents are 0 out of 7 2-stars.
Okay, I guess that's a good thing. What do you think? What makes 10v11 so tough right now?
I definitely think it's the last defensive buff the TH11's got, because Supercell tries to shifting the meter to simple 11v11 in my opinion. They aren't built on a stat where you do hit ups and hit down. So I guess they would try it, and the only way to fix it I see is either the 10v11 guys become real gods and be able to get 2-star anything with at least 2 tries, or the TH10s will get another buff on the troops, like on bowlers, golems, more HP, like the stuff you need for 10v11. But I think if Supercell does that, they will destroy the 10v10 game.
Okay, so do you think if, like for example, Golem level 6 gets moved down to Town Hall 10, do you think that would destroy 10v10?
Not in much cases, but the Golem gives you on TH10, I guess, like 5 to 7 seconds more, and have a queen like with a Suicide Golem queen taking 5 to 7 seconds less time damage. You can do even more if you have a spot out of CC range, so it's definitely base depending. But if you buff bowlers, I believe really strongly that mass bowler attacks will come back, and that will be just ugly.
Okay. So the meta at Town Hall 9 has been pretty cool for quite a while now. It's been very versatile. How do you like the meta at Town Hall 10 right now, Motke?
I like it that stuff like Queen Charge Drags is now even more viable, because before it was possible, but most of those hits were pretty close, or the base was just so perfect for it that you can't even fail with the drags on the back end. Now it's really good balanced in my opinion, but on the other side, for drags as example, I think they are too strong because you can do now just simple suicide mass drag attacks. And I don't like to see mass attacks like Bowler Witch, Mass Miner, or Mass Dragons. Stuff like Sui Mass Lalo, where you still have a mass attack, is a bit more. It's something I like to see because you need to drop the runes still surgical, so you need at least skill and have to see the pathing and the base. Also need a good spell execution.
All right, I can see that. Adam, you talk for an audience about Clash more than any of us does. So you're always having to keep up with what happens, always having to tell people what happens. First of all, how do you like the game that you commentate almost every day right now, and what would you like to be improved just inside Clash of Clans?
I think, sort of taking the main sections of war, you've got Town Hall 9. I mean, that second witch buff ended Town Hall 9. I mean, as much as the Lalos were overpowered, at least they were fun to watch, whereas the witch attacks are killing it. I don't know if it's worth focusing on, though, to be blunt about it. I just think that, especially at the top end, which is where we're at, all we need to do is just encourage more people to go to 10. That's the dream. So, okay. Obviously, watching those witch attacks kills it from a viewer point of view as well as a player point of view. Moving on to Town Hall 10, I actually like the fact that there's now a much bigger gap between 10s and 11s. We all remember a year ago where the difference between an 11 dip and a 10v10, there wasn't that much difference. It was really just the Warden. And obviously now it's a completely different game between Town Hall 10 and 11, which is good. I think that's a positive. And I do think that it's not a case of Supercell tweaking the troops. I think it's more of us adapting. I think that right now we're running these incredibly heavy Town Hall 10 breakdowns, which could change and maybe should change, that there are a few more 11s added to it and we don't go for the... Like, some people are running nearly 1 to 4 at the minute, which is like crazy. I thought we'd be going the other way and going nearer to 1 to 2 in terms of Town Hall 11s to Town Hall 10s. And Power CoC are a good example of this. DLZ as well are a good example of this. They have started to exploit when people go heavy on the anti-2s. Like, if you're going for a really sort of, my Town Hall 11 base is only there to defend against a 10, they are trying to hit a couple of 11v11 triples. Now, the real question is it easy enough to do it? Or are people just a little bit afraid yet and they need that bit more confidence? And I'm hoping it's the second of those. Like, I do think it is easy enough to do. I think that you can get some good results doing it. And really, we just need the clans to have that bit more time, the players to have that bit more practice. And I think we'll see more of these anti-2 bases being exploited and hit with 11v11s in CWL, in Invite. And I think that's good, because I think that will encourage more Town Hall 11 gameplay. I think it'd be more exciting for the Town Hall 11s, who must have been bored last season just doing dip after dip after dip. So yeah, I think it's in a good place, and I think that I don't know if it needs changing. I think it is just a case of give it that little bit more time, let a few more of these Town Hall 11s start to get more confident in the clan and say to the leaders, say, look, I can hit that base, let me go 11v11 on it. And that will force people to not build the anti-2 bases, and then, of course, the 10v11s pick back up again.
Do you really think it's a matter... Ow, what is this? Do you really think it's a matter of confidence? Is it just that the 11s don't get that many shots for 11 versus 11 10s?
Combination. I agree with you. And I would add to that as well that there is that fear factor of the 1-star, because the 1-star is the killer. If you get a 2-star, it's not really a fail, it's still okay. But when you get that 1-star, it's I mean, Power CoC will tell you, but not just them. I mean, it's a huge pain. So yeah, that's a very fair point. But we love the 11v11s right now, because we only get, I mean, what did we get last week? About 10 or 11 attempts. So we're really excited for them when we see them on YouTube, when we see them on Twitch, which is good. But I think we could have a few more without changing any of the rules or the balance or anything. I think that it's there, and it is just waiting for a couple of those Town Hall 11s to say, I want that shot, I want to hit it. And the next sort of logical extension of that is using a Town Hall 9 to scout an 11 and then hitting it with an 11, so you keep all your Town Hall 10 attacks intact. And again, a few clans have experimented with it. I think a few more will start trying to do it midweek, and it's really just a question of, can it work? Can it be reliable? And if it does, it will change the meta. If it doesn't, then perhaps we still need a little bit more tweaks at Town Hall 11 to really make it beneficial to do that.
Yeah, I feel like right now it is a combination of a very good point that you made, lack of confidence, lack of practice for a lot of the 11s, and also there's like such severe punishment if you fail. I mean, you said a 2-star is not too bad, but still an 11 versus 11 2-star counts as a dip fail in our wars where the 10s are not cleared, because the breakdowns are so 10 heavy and so 11 light compared to that. So for that reason, there's such a huge punishment. If you fail one Town 11 attack, you can already lose the war just because of that. And if you fail 2, you're definitely in a tough spot, as one I've experienced this weekend, for example. But it's way more likely to fail 11 versus 11 than 11 versus 10. And for that reason, I think that is still not done that often that we maybe hoped or expected it to be, and I honestly feel that that's not going to change until the breakdowns get like more 11 heavy, as you already mentioned, Adam.
Yeah, agreed.
I think also the 11v11 game in the current situation in the league is more based on how do you edit your lineup on the TH10s. If you put like the opponent can set only 16 TH10s, which is the minimum you have to bring, and as example 511s minimum as well. So you bring 16 10s and you have 5 11s, and in a meta where the 10v11 game got harder, so you have to counter with at least 5 to 6 hitters for 5 bases. You can only bring 9 to 10 10v10 hitters. And if a clan decides now, yeah, we are definitely that good on 10v10, we can bring those less 10v10 hitters, or we rather have those more 10v10 hitters in, so we drop some of the 10v11 hitters. Then the clan definitely decides like 1 to 2 11s can look for 1 to 2 11s of the opponent and say, don't touch them with TH10s. We will triple them after TH9 scout, as example.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with that. Once again, I think we pretty much all agree here that it would be cool to see some more 11 heavy breakdowns. Maybe create a scenario of where pretty much every war, the 10s, all 10s get cleared. There's just going to be more 11v11 attempts. Because if you had a breakdown of, I don't know, let's say, let's just make it easy, of 7 10s, and then with that, let's say, 7 11s, and then what would we have with that? Like maybe
18 to 19.
10s, yeah. Make it so that with like 2 10v10 triples you can already clear the 10s, because that way you would definitely get a lot more 11v11 attempts and a lot more 11 versus 11 attacks as well, because like whenever you clear the 10s like with 1 or 2 triples, or even without 10v10 triples, and there is going to be 11 versus 11 attempts, and that is definitely going to change base building.
See, I'm very against the idea of changing the game too much. Like, I don't think that we should impose too many rules, but I will say that I had a real think about it. I went for a walk. I live in a very nice place. I went for a walk. I'm sat there looking out over the sea, and as you do when you're in there, you think about the really important things. And I was thinking, what if all Town Hall 11s had to do one attack against an 11? Like if it was in the CWL rules, particularly an invite, where one of the 11 attacks had to go against the 11, and then the second one you could do whatever you wanted with.
I thought about the same, to be honest.
Were you sat in the same place as me?
I thought about the same scenario.
And what was your conclusion on that?
I would like it, but I'm not the one to decide.
All right, so Adam and Ferox are gonna start a vow for a new CWL rule season 4. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Absolutely. I mean, we've had stipulations like that before. Right now, it's of course free for all. Everybody can do what they want, which definitely leaves a lot of room. Maybe a couple of people are not gonna like it. Maybe a couple of 11s are not gonna want to do that. But the game is always changing. The game is certainly gonna change. and why not change in a way that is like gonna make the wars more exciting? Absolutely. Any more thoughts on that? Anybody want to state something?
I personally wouldn't like it because the variety of game plans the clans can make makes them special. And if you take away those two 11s can go for 11v11 and make it to every 11 has to go at least for one 11v11 attack, it would destroy for me the variety of the game plan. And that is like the ground of a tree. And if you change the ground of the tree will change even on the top.
But don't you think it's like a nice thing to have, because we also have no dip league out there, and having that rule would not change like everything, but like build a bridge between CWL league, for example, and a no dip league. Because I think you're an 11, you should enjoy to hit 11s, don't you?
Yeah, if it's anti-3 and I can do crazy stuff, but if you have to hit anti-2s as example.
But don't you think if we had that rule that some clans would use anti-2s and anti-3s for their
I think it will be more hybrid, because if you put up those, you can, like real anti-3s, you can easily hide percentage 2s them with 10s after hitting them with 11s. And it isn't even said that every of those 11s with one of their hits has to hit in different 11, like Focus 7 11s on just 2 bases, and the rest of them get 2 set by 10s. So I don't think it would change to a really anti-3 meter, as long there isn't a too big gap in between 10v11.
Got your point, but I still would try it.
No, I feel the same. I'm not sure what is the right answer to it, but I think I've become a little bit more open-minded to at least talking about other ideas. Like, I agree with Mudkip on principle. I always think that the more choice that people have, the better the game is. But I kind of thought that by now, especially now we're at week 4, or the end of week 4, I did think that we would see a bit more 11v11 action. It hasn't really gone that way. And obviously Maxwell, like he says, there is that fear, because a 2-star is still a fail. He is right on that. It is a fail, even though it's not. There's different levels of failing, I guess that's the way to put it.
Sure.
And obviously the 1-star is the kick in the face. But even a 2-star, it is, like you said, it is technically a dip fail. Yeah. However, it does mean that you don't then have to throw 10s at it, so it might free up a 10v10 triple, which sort of balances it back out.
True.
But I don't know. I'd really love to see some clans testing it a bit more during the week. Power CoC have played with it a little bit. I know DLZ look at it as a very viable part of their game, but
yes.
It's a very small percentage of a league that's really trying it, and I am surprised. I thought a few more would have tried it by now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We've exchanged some thoughts on this. Maybe a couple of people that have not been decided on this yet can also use our thoughts to sort of create an opinion and bring that out there and run with it. Maybe make the common opinion go more in sort of the way that 11v11 is going to be more viable, because I think everybody would like to see that. So yeah, it's gonna cap it off for the interview for today. We've been going about that for quite a bit now as well. And how about we do everybody's most favorite category next? Let's go to maybe, maybe not. For this week's Watch Together, we have got a Spartan's Legacy attack, guys, and we've got Hex coming in for this one. 10v11 from the war against Mariana Trench. That is a couple of weeks ago now. So let's see. I believe, Mutke, that you were watching this attack pretty closely. He's doing... Oh, you already paused it. Interesting. Yeah. 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the attack, and of course we only have 2 people here today that it makes sense to predict, since Mutke and I already know the outcome. So it's gonna be the battle of Adam and Ferox to determine, is this gonna be a 2-star or not. So what happened so far? He tried to suicide his queen and did not get one building down.
I would like to hear Adam first this time, because he was always sitting in the back. Be patient, hear anything others suggest, and then keep the best of it together.
I like that.
I'm trying to work out
Yeah, he does a Maxwell.
What? I don't know what you mean, but I do know this, that suiciding your queen for 0%, this looks like one of my attacks, so I should be good at this. I'm going to say maybe not.
Okay. Ferox?
When I hit with dragons and do hits like this, normally I have grounded expos.
Which is not the case here.
I know. That's why I'm thinking.
Okay. So Adam said no, so you have to say yes now.
No, I'm thinking how I would hit the base.
So you're planning right now, okay? This guys, we'll be back in about an hour.
I'm gonna call it a fail.
Okay, so
but
you both.
If I'm wrong, it's my lack of experience.
Oh, all right, great excuse. Yeah, so you're both betting against Spartan's Legacy. Well, we're gonna see what that gets you. Mutke, please start the replay again.
Okay.
And we'll see. So he has wasted his queen pretty much. He's swagged his queen, and now he's got the dragons to pick up 50% and the town hall, of course, on this base. So let's see. Hex, of course, one of the yeah, well, I think there's not too many poor attackers in SL, but one of the best for sure inside SL. So let's see how he's going to be doing. Coming in with...
Whoa. You didn't tell me that he was that good before I made the pick.
You should know him even longer than me.
Why is Adam supposed to know him?
Hex is known in the war scene.
Okay.
In general, no. So...
Oh, is it one of Hex's accounts?
Yeah.
He said it's Hex.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about it. That yeah, it's his new 10 he got after destroying his other TH10 with gaming a TH.
That was the best thing ever.
Ah, he got it. Nice.
48.
But he was... No.
49.
Wait.
Archer
Okay.
has it.
But I have to say it was a little bit lucky.
Just a little bit. Well, he swagged his queen, so 50% 2-star. Got it done. So no luck today. Like it's not Adam's time right now. No luck today. And also no luck for Ferox, unfortunately. All right. We're gonna move on to more happy things, the future, and yeah, let's go do some predictions. I heard Adam is pretty good at that.
Don't even.
All right, guys, we have some interesting wars coming up. Not next week, of course, because next week is the bye week and the CWL All-Star War. But in 2 weeks, we are going to have week 5 of CWL. And we have 3 wars that I want to talk about with you guys and predict the outcome. First one, Mariana Trench versus Faked Wargasm. And since Ferox has said that I am always predicting last or calling last or whatever, I'm going to go first on this one. Of course, I am in Mariana Trench, and it's going to be a tough one for sure. I feel like Faked Wargasm is sort of unpredictable at the moment. Very good performance, I believe, this week. The week before, not so much. Gonna be an interesting one, and a week off to build bases and get the stuff together. I believe Mariana Trench are gonna win this one by 1 star.
I'm gonna pick Mariana Trench too with a close win.
Okay, Mutke?
I will go with Fake Orgasm.
Because you've been a member there, or?
No, I wanted to try to avoid name that out, but I think Fake Orgasm will win because they have now a bye week, and they saw, like, in the last match, from what I know, they went pretty shitty on 10v11, starting with 1 out of 10. They will use definitely now the bye week to get some serious wars in, if it is at least against the family clan, to definitely grind up that 10v11 game. And if they do that, they are pretty strong on the other stages. I believe they had, after week 3, the best 9v9 hit rate out of the league. And a pretty consistent 10v10 game as well.
All right, Adam, what's your pick on that one?
This is a horrible one to pick. They are both really good clans. They'll both be in the playoffs. And I like them both, which makes it difficult for me. It would be an easy pick to pick Fake Wargasm, but I can't ignore what happened on week 3. They were I don't know, they were not good enough. And I don't really understand why. I don't know what changed. Obviously, it was just a bad war, and I don't know. MT are doing excellent things, but I'm going to go for Fate Wargasm. I do think week 3 was just a bad war with no real explanation for it. It happened. But I think in general, Fate Wargasm are the 3rd or 4th ranked clan in the league at the minute, and I think therefore I've got to pick them.
All right, so we are sort of torn on that. 2 of us predicted MT to win and 2 predicted Fate Wargasm to win. Interesting. Up next, a very interesting war in my opinion, Pinoy Bandidos versus Marshall's Nation. And then we've got quiet Marshall's Nation's fan Adam sitting in here as well. So Adam, is your team Marshall's Nation gonna win?
Yes. It's the easy answer to that. I really like Pinoy Banditos. I hate their schedule, I really do. They've had some great performances, but they're constantly coming up against top end of the table clans, and even though Marshall's Nation have been a little bit shaky, they've kind of shown good and bad. I think that after the bye week, this extra time is going to allow them to refocus, and I think that they'll benefit from it more than a lot of other clans. So I think it's going to be a Marshall's Nation win.
All right, Mutke, what do you think?
I'm for Pinoy Bandidos because it's at the one hand a time for the first win, and on the other hand, I like them just more.
All right, Ferox?
Pinoy Bandidos.
Pinoy Bandidos. Okay, I'm also gonna go with Pinoy Bandidos. Equally, I feel like they deserve a win. This is a really tough war because both clans are good. I think both clans definitely belong in Invite. You can't argue with that. Both of them good clans. Pinoy Bandidos have done a lot better than a lot of people predicted them to do. Everybody said Marshall's Nation was sort of a dark horse, and they have proven to be pretty good, but didn't quite pull through yet. So once again, it's going to be tough to see either side lose. I hope it's going to be a close one, a good war that both teams can take something away from. I hope it's not going to be a tie, but yeah, overall, I also think it's going to be close. I think Pinoy Bandidos are going to win this one. And the last war that we're going to predict is Bye Forever against J-Off. And how about we start with J-Off member Ferox?
J-Off.
All right, that's easy. Why are we gonna win, and by how many?
Because we're J-Off.
Okay, by how many?
It will be a close one because you never know. Bye Forever can pull up like the best performances you don't expect. So 1 or 2, I think.
All right, Mutke, who do you give the better chance here?
I'm for J-Off.
Okay. Adam.
Yeah, this is awkward because in a few minutes I need to go and talk to Rigoletto from Bye Forever.
Don't worry, he's not going to hear this until Wednesday.
Yeah, that was my thinking on this. I do think JF are the favourites in that one. Bye Forever are, without a doubt, the most inconsistent clan in Invite, but they're also very good. Like, they're not a bad inconsistent clan.
True.
Potentially, they can hit 115 stars. We've seen them rock 6 and 7 10v10s, but I believe in consistency, and I got to think if that war happened 10 times, J-Off would win it 7 times, and therefore I'm going for J-Off.
My thought on this one is J-Off is a clan that is, we are a clan that is very, very talented. It's just lacking experience, and also in some areas a little bit of organization, just experience overall. That makes a lot of sense because we have never played Invite before, coming from Premier and just working our way up the ranks. Also we have a nice train, Mutke. Also we have
yeah,
that's the running gag inside Clashversation. Also, we have a couple of people that might still be joining us at this point in time that have been free agents, so it's going to be interesting. And I really think the bye week is going to help us to build some solid bases, get some good practice in, get some good random wars in, and I believe we are going to come back even stronger than we have been before this break, beating Reddit, Omega, and OneHive so far. That can't be overlooked, and I believe that we are solidly going to win this one. Actually, I think we're going to win by 3 or 4, and we are going to come out of the break really strong. And I hope nobody from Bye Forever watches this and it's gonna kill me.
Bye Forever will kill me too. Every time I pray for Bye Forever, unless I face them.
No, definitely very sympathetic clan, but I don't know. It's, of course, I'm biased since I'm a part of J-Off, but yeah. I think that the bye week is really gonna help us, and we're gonna come back strong. All right, so predictions in as well. That was quick, luckily. And that's already the end of the video for us today. Clashversation is back, guys. I'm certainly very happy about that. Thank you to the 3 of you that were able to stop by today. Any final words, guys? Any shout outs?
Yeah, I'm going to go first just so I can get out of here. I'm really glad Clashversation is back. I absolutely love it. Even when I'm not on it, I still watch it. I love it. It's great, and you guys are awesome. I just want to do a quick shout out to Jackadunga, Rorak Live, and Lady B. They've been helping me a lot with the streams over the weekends, so we can do longer streams and get more people involved, which is awesome. And like I said, thank you very much for having me on.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure, Adam, as always. It's always great when you are on the show. And yeah, once again, guys, you just heard the names. I'm going to drop their Twitch links in the description of this video. Go follow them on Twitch. Support the Clash of Clans Twitch streaming community because they are awesome. And once again, Adam, thanks for being here today. Motke, any final words, shout outs, Spartan's Legacy, how are we going to do?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me here. I joined for one wit back in season 2, and now I'm just consistent here. So
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah, nice. And Ferox, what are you going to do during the bye weeks? Practice 10v11 maybe?
I'm in the All-Star match, so I hope I get some doubles in.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's going to do it from us for now, for today, guys. And once again, thank you for watching. And until next time, we will see you all later. Peace out.